you guys, and happy 2015, seeing as it's the 7th day. So it's been 1 week. You've survived 1 week if you're seeing this, and if you're not, well, I am so sorry. So anyways, to start off this year, I'll have to talk a bit about last year and the whole mainstream film thing, you know, what movies I liked, what movies I didn't like, and for this video we're gonna look at the stuff I didn't like very much. Now, my thing with the whole, listing thing, I'll do it, I'm okay with doing it, but I hate putting, worst or best on it. I mean, yeah, there's stuff, where people in a consensus, Battlefield Earth is bad, or Citizen Kane is one of the best. But there's always people who will say, hey, maybe Battlefield Earth is a masterpiece, or Citizen Kane is a piece of shit. So, it all depends on the person. So this is just me, and I'm only listing 5.
It begins.
So, if you don't really know me, and I haven't been doing this for too long, it's been a year, but, I don't know if I can play it, but I'm not a big Darren Aronofsky fan. I'm sorry, people who seem to have this raging film boner for him. I personally think he's overrated. I like a few of his stuff, but I don't think it's, hot shit, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. And, yeah, I just don't get the rage about him. There's, his fanboys are insane. Fangirls, if you wanna, because we're not excluding anyone here. But I really don't get the big deal with him. I think he's just not subtle. He's just, I don't mind, I understand, directors that are very in your face, but the way he does it, I'm just you're trying too hard. And I can rant on him all day if I could, but that will be for another episode. Trust me, you do not want to miss that episode to see why I have a problem with him. But the problem with Noah was, okay, I'll admit, there was one scene I really liked. It was this scene.
Follow the temptation of darkness, or hold on to the blessing of light. They ate from the forbidden fruit. Their innocence is extinguished. And so for the 10 generations since Adam, sin has walked within us. Brother against brother. Nation against nation. Man against creation. We murdered each other. We broke the world. We did this. Man did this. Everything that was beautiful, everything that was good, we shattered.
It was the best scene in the entire movie. The rest of the film is a hot mess. It's okay, I think, cool for him for trying something different with a biblical story, but it's at the same time, it's man, this is overly ambitious. It's I know many people had problems with Prometheus. I was not one of them. I was just oh, this is enjoyable. But I understand if you didn't really like it and people were oh, it was too ambitious. That was their problem. Yeah, this is my problem with Noah. It was way too ambitious, and I felt like it was a little too long. It's been a while since I saw it. I saw it when it came out. Jesus, it's been a year. Russell Crowe's okay. There's no one, that stands out. Emma Watson does her lines. She emotes. Cool. I think the only character I liked was, Anthony Hopkins, who played the father. Yeah, it's been a while. But I liked Anthony Hopkins. I kind of wish it was just about that character. And then when he leaves, I'm like, oh no, come back. You're the only one I care about. But yeah. So yeah, that's my number 5. And yeah, just fair warning from now on. Almost all, except the next one, are biblical stories.
I know you're there. Don't be afraid.
I am not afraid.
Then come out.
Then you'll be afraid.
So, you see, going back to what I was saying about Aronofsky, or any, like, adaptation, I don't mind it if they want to take liberties with it or whatever, as long as it's done well and it doesn't seem just like a rehash of things we've seen before and done better. And that was my biggest problem with Maleficent, just in general. When I heard they were making it, I was like, okay, like, she's a big, if you ask people who watch Disney films, including myself, a lot of people would rank her very high up on their favorite Disney villains, yes. She's practically her own, like, legend, if you want to call it that. And I was okay with the fact that they let Angelina Jolie play her. And trust me, she does alright in this part although there's some parts where I'm just like, okay, tone it down. And, so yeah, I was okay with that. I was on board, but then I saw the final product. The trailer was all good, but then once you saw it, you were like, what were they thinking with these choices? I think the first 30 or so minutes when they give her backstory and why she's bad, so I'm getting into spoiler territory, but honestly, I'll just give it away to you. If you don't want to hear it, well, fine, but honestly, I'll save you the trouble. She's bad because a guy broke her heart. And that guy happened to be Princess Aurora's father because he let power get in the way. How does he do this? He cuts off her wings, which is like, okay, rape metaphor. That's very subtle. Which, okay, that's fine. It didn't offend me or anything, but it's like, I don't know. I thought it was just very predictable. The things that really, like, killed it for me, because I'm fine with Angelina Jolie. I actually like Elle Fanning as Aurora. They actually make her more interesting in this, a bit. Not much, but say compared to, like, the animated, because, like, yeah, she's pretty. Girls, maybe boys too, I don't know, want to be her. It's like, yeah, that's their high level of beauty or whatever. But she doesn't have much of a personality. She's just kind of there, even though the movie's kind of about her, but yeah, she's just pretty bland. But she was alright here. But the things that really killed it for me was, one, like, the whole, like, world building they did. Like, they were trying, but it didn't do much for me. And I was like, I feel like I've seen this before. You've seen it before. But really, the biggest thing comes down to the fairies and actually the king. Oh, God. Okay, the fairies, they're actually the best part of Disney Sleeping Beauty. And you think that they would translate that as well. Like, do a little, like, gray area. It's like, well, they're not entirely bad. They're not, that, like, they could have done it, like, whatever. But they really dumbed them down in this. Every time they were on screen, I felt like I was being stabbed in the back with how, like, just reacting to how stupid and lazy and just like, they were. I'm like, no. So yeah, that's part of, like, the thing for me. Oh, and the king. Okay. The actor who was in that, I believe, was in District 9, actually. This is the guy who was the main character in District 9. And I love District 9. It's been a while. since I saw it, but I just love the actor, main character. But Jesus, what was he doing here with the acting? He was just hamming it up and chewing on the scenery. Yeah, I think that's most disappointing performance, worst performance I saw in a film this year. Ugh.
Mommy,
Yes, Colton?
did you know I have a sister?
You didn't know that Cassie's your sister?
No, I have two sisters. You had a baby die in your tummy, didn't you?
Honey, who told you I had a baby die in my tummy?
In heaven, this little girl came up to me. She told me she died in your tummy.
So with number 3, like I said, there's a lot of religious movies on this list. There were a lot of religious movies that came out in 2014 for... I really don't know. Like, why 2014 and not say, like, I don't know, 2012? But yeah, a lot of them came out, including Son of God, which I didn't see because I heard that was just cutting... That was just the Jesus part of the miniseries, The Bible, which I heard was terrible. And so it's like, wait, so I could probably just find the Bible on Netflix and just watch it there if I felt like it, but I didn't want to because I don't want to sit through more History Channel's like a piece of shit right now. But number 3, oh God, talk about no plot conflict at all. Heaven is for real. Okay, let me start off by saying, briefly, before I get to the other two, which are also religious films, I grew up Catholic. Right now, but I always, find religion interesting, other religions, and I don't agree with a lot of Catholic teachings, but I'm okay with the new Pope. I think he's a good step. But I'm also fascinated with other religions, and I really hate it when either religious people or even atheists are just shoving their beliefs down your throat. I'm not okay with that. And yeah, I mean, this wasn't as bad as shoving your beliefs down your throat, but it was just so boring. Yeah, second worst performance, maybe even worse than the Maleficent one that I mentioned. A little kid. Jesus. Okay, when I saw the trailers, this isn't just me, right? I kept seeing the trailer for this film, and I thought it was like some sort of horror movie about a possessed child, and it's like, no, it's Heaven's for real. I'm like, but the kid belongs in a horror film, not this. Unless they could have made this into a horror film, I don't know. But just nothing, no conflict, nothing interesting to say about, and I also read a bit about, the true story it's based on, and, they even have a scene where, they're with the doctor and they provide a logical, scientific explanation for it, which can happen. But it's first of all, the parents were already religious. They were Christians. I think the father was a preacher in this small Nebraska town. So it's his kid goes, oh yeah, Heaven's for real. I saw Jesus. Of course. And it's well, I would think if you were a religious leader, you'd already believe that. You didn't need your little child to confirm it and say, oh, I saw the miscarried baby, or I saw grandpa. And there's just a lot of, it's really, you needed your child to confirm that it's real. And even then, you already believe that, so there's really no point in this. Yeah, that's the biggest problem with that movie.
Mr. Wheaton, are you ready?
We're going to put God on trial.
If you think you're smarter than me, do not try to humiliate me in front of my students. In that classroom, there is a God. I'm him.
This experiment is over. You get to decide who the most important person in your life is. Me, Professor Radisson.
But I have to do this thing. like it's something that God wants me to do. I can't just turn away from it.
You just want to ensnare them in your primitive superstition.
What I want is for them to make their own choice. That's what God wants.
You have no idea how much I'm going to enjoy failing you.
Yeah, but who are you really looking to fail? Me or God?
As I said before, I really hate it when religious people shove your beliefs down a throat, but just as bad, sometimes even worse, are atheists. And Jesus, God's Not Dead is like, everyone called it the straw man film of the year. Oh yeah. I don't know what's beyond a straw man argument, fallacy, whatever, but Jesus Christ. If you want to see a film where both sides just look awful from either end, watch this film, because it makes Christianity look bad. It makes Islam look bad. There's a subplot with this Muslim girl who starts reading Christian doctrine and is like, maybe I just want to be Christian. And her dad gets mad at her to the point where he kicks her out of the house, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I got too passionate there. But he kicks her out of the house, and it's like, wait. I mean, yeah, there's the whole conflict between Muslims, Christians, and Jews, but it's like, that makes no sense, because they all believe in one God, and they're all part of the Abrahamic, I think, tree, because Abraham is in, the Torah, is in the Bible, and is even in the Quran. Heck, even in the Quran, if you ask Muslims around, they will say that they actually have Jesus in there, in the Quran. They have the whole, life and death of Jesus Christ. They just don't focus on him much. They're more concerned, they worship more Muhammad and Allah's God, than Jesus. But they acknowledge, they're like, oh yeah, he exists. Jesus exists. He existed. But we're more on the side of Muhammad. But that's just me lightening it. Just ask someone that's Muslim, they'll tell you, yeah, that makes no sense, because it's more complicated, but it still, at base point, it's like, that makes no sense. And then, the kid who challenges the freaking atheist professor, who, God, people usually say the scary atheists come from, Reddit and, that realm of the internet, the subreddit atheism. I think the writers of this just went to that subreddit and was like, okay, I'm just gonna look through all these posts, and from there, that'll inspire me to write this atheist character. He is merely a caricature. He is not that developed. And then there was the liberal blogger, God, who is also an atheist, and then she gets, life-threatening cancer, and now and it's like, see, if you don't believe in God, you're gonna get cancer. What? And just, oh God, it makes everyone look awful. Enough said. Now onto my least favorite film of the year. This is actually, okay, with the exception of No One Maleficent, I saw those in theater, and I saw this one in theater. It's bombing, I think, as I'm speaking. Heaven's for Real and God's Not Dead, I rented those, so just to give it a try, because I feel like I should give it a watch before making a final decision. And this one, I actually wanted to give it a watch before making a final decision, as there was controversy surrounding it even before it was released. That film is... oh God, where to start with this one? If I said the whole, hey, why is everyone white thing didn't bother me, I'd be lying. At first I was like, well, maybe, and then they came out with that still where it's like, all the main characters are white as crackers, and then, the slaves are, black. It's like, oh God, yeah. I really hate going through, how dare you not, do that. But no, this is no exception. It's 2014. It's 2015. And, look, I like Christian Bale. Aaron Paul's in this. I kept making Breaking Bad jokes during this. This is what got me through it. I kept making Breaking Bad jokes and Batman jokes, I guess. And it's like, God, I don't know if I want to get even more into that whole issue thing, but it's like, Egyptians, like, at lightest, they'd probably be, like, mixed. You can probably get a Hispanic person if that mattered. Close enough, but, yeah, okay. But that is the least of this film's problems. Like, whitewashing is not a new thing. Heck, it's still going, unfortunately. Right now, the controversy is with Ghost in the Shell. Okay, I like Scarlett Johansson. Please, no. But that's the least of this film's problems. The biggest problem is, it's just boring. Joel Edgerton chews on scenery in this one. He's not as bad as, like I said, the guy in Maleficent or the kid in Heaven's Not For Real, but it's just like, I felt like no one in this film was trying. I don't know if they just got the script and they were like, okay, guess another paycheck. Whoa. I feel like Joel Edgerton's only trying just to make a bigger name of himself. Like, Christian Bale's already, like, he already has his Oscar. He did the Dark Knight trilogy. Sigourney Weaver has had a long career, so it's like, she's like, I don't care. Aaron Paul probably just finished Breaking Bad at that point, or was, like, near the end of it, so he's like, I'm good to go. But, like, Joel Edgerton only seemed like he was trying, but even then, just shitty scenery. Doesn't help that they picked white people to play. God, you couldn't at least pick Jewish people? I don't think any of those people are Jewish. Like, yeah, seriously, you couldn't. Whatever. But, it was just so boring. It was so long. And honestly, the one I'm most disappointed in, I'm not going to blame this entirely on the actors. I'm blaming this all on Ridley Scott. Dear Ridley Scott, stop. Just stop what you're doing. Stop making movies. And let me make this clear. I love Alien, Blade Runner. I love those movies. I love those. Like, your early stuff, there's a reason they're classics. And they were much deserved, and they're still much deserved. And I think you're just good with those films to your legacy. But I think this to your legacy, Jesus. Oh, God, you weren't even trying. I feel like now you should just end. Just produce movies and hopefully introduce better, talented people. Whatever. And instead of just trying with these mediocre things, and I'm sure you haven't seen Gladiator, but, like, I know some people who didn't really like it were like, it's just the Moses story, and he seems to like doing that a lot, so it's like, oh, let me just make the all-time Moses story. And that's my least favorite list. Golden Globes are on Sunday, depending when I upload this. If it's Sunday, happy Golden Globes night. Let's see who wins. And I should get my favorite list before the Oscars-ish. We'll see. And I have some fun things planned for this year. So, hope you have a good day.